guys, it's Rich, and in this Tarot Talk video, I'm going to be doing a deck review of the Tarot Apokalypsis. Apokalypsis. Definitely a hard title to say. So, this is done by Eric Dune and Kim Huggins, the same ones that did the Tarot Illuminati. So, this is also produced by Lo Scarabeo in 2016, and I am immensely infatuated with this deck right now, and I told myself I'm not allowed to do any readings or anything with this until I do this review. So I'm doing this review on September 4th, well, probably now September 5th, in the middle of the night, so I can actually delve into this deck and get to working with it. So absolutely loving the imagery on here. A little bit about the packaging. This is some really cool packaging. Lo Scarabeo always does right by their customers on packaging, and especially with their kits. The other ones are, they're regular flip-top boxes, but with their kits, they always come up with something neat. So, yeah, nice little hard cardboard, box set look. One side. And my ribbon came undone for that holds, or that you can use for getting your cards out, but my cards will not be living in this box for very long. So anyway, it has a little title on the spine there, and I'm just gonna set this back in here so I can get into this wonderful book. Okay, Kim Huggins is the one that writes the books, and I wasn't as thrilled with the Tarot Illuminati book, and I was watching an interview that Eric did about the Tarot Illuminati, and they said, the book was kind of rushed together, and they didn't really put a lot of focus on the cards and what the meaning was behind the cards and stuff like that. That wasn't really their focus in that book. And so for me, as a person that likes to study the companion books and see where that artist was going with the imagery and where their mindset was on something, or maybe they mentioned something that it's oh, I didn't even see that there. One that comes to mind is The Witch's Tarot, whenever Ellen Dugan points out that there's a pentacle on the pouch of the Fool in her deck. I believe it's on the Fool. I know there's one on the Hanged Man too, up at the top. But she points those little details out in the book. So I like to see those little tiny details put in there, because then that's what draws my eye there. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that was there. What significance does that have to everything else that's going on in this picture, in this image, and what can I take away from it? So that was something that I felt was missing from the Tarot Illuminati. Still wonderful cards, but the book was a little bit lacking in that. This book, oh my gosh, we have 57 pages of material, and yeah, that's including the about the authors and all that stuff. They give a further reading section, so a little bibliography of where to find more information. I know I already have 2 of these books. Yeah, well, I have one, and the other one's coming in the mail. I actually think I have Meditations on the Tarot too. I don't know. Anyway, not about which books I have and need to read. Let's get into the book, because this is going to be a long video if I don't just, go and do this. So, I have not read through this book. I don't know exactly how the setup is on this book. So, we have a foreword and beginning, introduction about the tarot. Let's see. Tarot is a toolbox of symbolism, how to read the cards, using a spread, genders, colors, suits, numbers, individual cards, and he gives 1, 2, 3, 4 tarot spreads. And then we get into the cards. He talks about the major arcana, and he links it up with the Astrological Association and the Kabbalistic Association, so that's awesome. And they have an extra card called the All Gifted. All of these are in full color. I love whenever they do full color. I can go with a black and white. I can go with no picture at all. But you know what? If you're going to go all out like this book, full color picture is always appreciated. So they have, I think this is a look at the card, and then the mystery. This one is the additional card, as it says, and then a revelation and a reversal aspect. And they seem to do this with every single card, and it's like 4 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pages for the full. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so like 4 or 5, pages for each individual card. And then they go into see if they do the same setup in the minors. Let's just pick a minor arcana card here and go with it. So which one do we pick? The 3 of Swords has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages, but smaller picture. So yeah, I can live with a smaller picture. That's fine. I like the information that's in here. I'm really getting into seeing this book, and I'm just like salivating over this book right now. Kind of shaking too, just seeing all the stuff that's in this book. So anyway, the court cards, they also do a full picture. So, but wait, there's more. They also give practice exercises like keeping a journal, a daily draw, and 3 symbol reading: foreground, midground, and background. That's okay. I can see that. And yeah, so huge book. Cannot wait to start getting into this book and delving into it along with these cards. These cards are fantastic. I've gone through them maybe like 2-3 times. At first glance, whenever I first looked at these cards, I wasn't really fascinated with them. And then the more and more I looked at them and the more reviews I saw on them, I said, you know what, I have to get these. So let me go ahead and bring you guys on down, and I will show you guys the Tarot Apokalypsis by Eric Doon and Kim Huggins, and published by Lo Scarabeo. Okay, I just wanted to give you guys a close-up of this box. I mean, look how awesome this is, and I'm probably not getting it in frame, but awesome box. There's the book. I mean, seriously, I'm gonna have fun with this. So I'm gonna set that aside. I ain't even putting that back in there because I know I'm gonna be reading this. Take that out. And like I said, my little ribbon came undone. So I'm just gonna pop these on out because I know they're not gonna live in there for very long. I think I probably already have a pouch ready for those. So yeah, I'll just stick that right back in there, and eventually the book will go back in there after I'm done reading it. So anyway, nice box. Thank you, Lo Scarabeo, for the box. Couple things before we get started here on the flip through. Let's look at thickness. It is a thicker deck. Let's see if I can get my life together and do this. Okay, it is a thicker deck. It doesn't have that gold gilding on the edges that I did not like on the Tarot Illuminati. And they also have a deck version of the Tarot Illuminati that came out. So that one does not have the gold gilding, and it does have borders that you can make it borderless. So anyway, it's on my wish list. The card size is a hair wider and a hair longer than the Rider-Waite-Smith. So that gives you a gauge. Like I said, cardstock, it's a little bit thicker. The finish on it, I wouldn't really say that's like the plastic finish, but it kind of is from the old school Rider-Waite-Smith. Not too terribly glossy, has a little bit of a gloss to it. I shall say perhaps a semi-gloss. Anyway, ignore this deck for a second. This is an extra card that you can use, and I'm not sure exactly how to use that card or what it means or anything like that. I want to say that it's kind of like in the Lenormand, the extra cards that they give in those decks as signifier cards and whatnot. So I think that's where they were going on it. I read a little excerpt from it, from the book on it, because I wasn't really sure, but I didn't really read too much into it. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys that one, and then we'll get into the rest of the deck. Okay. So one thing I will say about Eric Dune, or Eric Dunn, however you say his last name, I think it's Dunn. I don't know. Anyway, one thing that I will say about Eric is that he is very ethnically diverse with his decks. The Tarot Illuminati did it. He did it in this deck. And I want to say he either has or had a third deck that came out, or is having a third deck come out. So if I'm wrong on that, so be it. But I think he said he wanted to do a total of 3 decks, and I could be wrong on that. It's been a while since I watched the interview that he did. But in both the Tarot Apokalypsis and the Tarot Illuminati, these are stunning images. They are ethnically diverse. They all have different meanings. And they went into a lot of detail in the book. I remember even seeing this one just at a glance. The Sundance that the First Peoples perform, the ceremony that they perform, stuff like that. He's taken from so many cultures and poured it into this deck. It is amazing. And I'm pretty sure that Eric does his artwork through a digital medium. I'm not exactly sure how he does it all, but I'm pretty sure that it's all like digitally based, that he puts it into the computer and then manipulates and whatnot as needed. But I think that's what he was saying that he was doing. And of course, I could be wrong. But on some of these, you can tell that, yes, it was a digital picture. But I will say in the Tarot Illuminati, you can't really tell. It has like smooth lines. It's very well done. As far as not being able to tell that it was a computer-generated image. Some of these, it's like, okay, I can see the lines a little too much. If he would have done like maybe a little bit of blending in certain areas, it might not be as obvious. Like for me, this fire seems computer generated, and it kind of gives a weird feeling. I'm probably not explaining that, and probably not saying it correctly. I'm just not saying it correctly. But I will tell you that any deck that has a camel in it, I'm sold. I love camels. All of Eric's artwork, every single time I see it, I'm just... It hits you emotionally. It really delves into the symbolism of not only the culture, but also the symbolism behind the Rider-Waite-Smith system. It's very well done. And to be honest, I think this is him. I know that he modeled himself in I want to say it was the Eight of Cups in the Tarot Illuminati. No, it was the Five of Cups. Yeah. It was the Five of Cups in the Tarot Illuminati. Now this one, I was looking at this one yesterday whenever I was prepping for this. And I had a chuckle to myself because I really want to know, am I picking from a cup or am I picking a guy? Either way, I'm fine with any result of that, but I'm really leaning towards picking one of those hot guys in the Roman bath, and yeah, I'm just putting that out there because yeah, they're pretty hot. It's another thing I'll give Eric is that he does not skimp on the details. Whenever he shows somebody in their full physical form, aka naked, or whenever they are showing musculature or anything like that, he really goes into detail. So totally, like, look at that King of Cups. All I have to say is yum. And I really like this one. The Two of Pentacles, I saw this whenever I was going through the deck yesterday, and I said, wow, she's balancing. Not only is she balancing and juggling the energies and everything, but she's balancing on a Shiva Lingam. And I have a Shiva Lingam, and that is a very powerful stone for me. I got that, and whoo boy. See a lot of Buddhist cultures in the pentacles here. Or Hindu possibly also has an influence in this. So I'd say India area. And Willowwind, Thrifty Witch. There's your peacock if you were watching this. And another thing I'll say is whenever he does court cards, I'm pretty sure he did this in the Tarot Illuminati. He goes Princess, Prince, Queen, and King. So that was a pleasant change of pace. So that is the Tarot Apokalypsis. Let's see how it shuffles. It's a little bit thicker of a deck, but sideways shuffles fine. I have fairly regular sized hands, I guess. I don't think they're enormous. Let's see. Like butter. Yeah, definitely going to be one of my primary reading decks. This is one of those decks that, like I said, for the Morgan Greer and for a couple other decks that I've done reviews on, this is a deck, and there's my Hermit. This is a deck that I can take right out of the box and start reading with, especially with some of the cultures. It's like, okay, I know, let's find one here. I know, just like, for example, the Hanged Man, and I don't know a lot about the Sundance ceremony, but I know that it is an intense type of ceremony, an intense ritual that takes a lot of mental preparation, a lot of physical preparation. It's not something that you just go and do. It's something that you really have to prepare for. So not only has this Hanged Man prepared himself for this situation, but he's also seeing things from a different point of view, a more spiritual point of view. He's giving himself to the situation, and by doing that, he's seeing things from a different point of view. So it's, wow, just powerful imagery. The Hierophant, you have one teacher teaching the next who teaches the next, and it goes down the line. I don't know if yogi would be the proper term for that teacher, but you have one that teaches the next that teaches the next, and I think that is very indicative of the Hierophant. So I think that's very appropriate. Like I said, for Eric, he takes a lot of time and effort into making sure that his symbolism is right on. He's very appropriate with the cultures. He's very appropriate with the way he approaches everything. So I love it. I think this is definitely going to be one of the primary reading decks. Again, Eight of Pentacles. You have a master and a student, or a teacher and a student. Somebody that is learning about this faith. So a passing on of knowledge and somebody learning. So yeah, I mean, this is just very appropriate artwork. It's very culturally diverse. It has a lot of things going on in it. Even simple things like the Magician. You have so many different pieces of symbolism here. Everything's happening. So, and the back's fully reversible as far as I can tell. Nope, take that back. If you look at the clouds, they are not fully reversible. So, yeah, the clouds are the giveaway. Unfortunately, this is not fully reversible, but that's okay. I don't look at the back of my decks anyway, so it's all good. Anyway, that is the Tarot Apokalypsis by Eric Dune, or Dunn, and Kim Huggins. And who did I say it was produced by Lo Scarabeo, correct? Yes, Lo Scarabeo. And like I said, I think this just came out in 2016. Yes, 2016. So wonderful artwork. Cannot wait to delve into this book and study the deck. and really connect with it, because I think it'll be wonderful. So anyway, that's all that I have for this Tarot Talk Tuesday. And until next time, may you have love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.